The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome to a beautiful, it's not December 21st, it's December 26th. Let me change that right now. We cannot let this stand. We're going to change it right now here. I can't believe that, one thing that I forget to do most every week, is go in here and change the date. We're getting close now where we're going to have to actually change it. Well, didn't like it here. Maybe that's why I didn't change it. Yeah. How irritating is it to actually do that? There we go. I couldn't do it until we had changed the date finally, so I didn't get any more hate mail from everybody that tells me I don't change the dates. December 26th, today is Boxing Day. Boxing Day in Britain was a custom for tradesmen to collect Christmas boxes of money or presents. The first week after Christmas is thanks for service throughout the year by their masters, I guess is the idea. It's turned into, at least in Canada, because I work with a bunch of Canadians, the day that you drag all your boxes back of things that don't fit and return all your goods. And it's kind of like the day after Thanksgiving here in the United States for us. I always thought it was a little weird. Never could get a hold of anybody in the office. That's what mostly ticked me off. But other than that, probably not a big deal. And no one really knows what it stands for now, because no one's getting Christmas bonuses after Christmas. No, most everybody gets them before Christmas. But what can you say? Okay, we've got the fiscal cliff. We've got Thelma and Louise going over going into the Grand Canyon, flying, ready to go out here. Of course, there is no vote now scheduled for Friday, so we can say fairly certainly that the first chance for another vote on any kind of fiscal cliff compromise would be on Monday. But we can know that the market will close Friday without any House vote, and most likely Monday would be the first day. If we don't see anything by Friday, they have to have it at least 3 days. It means that there won't be anything until the next year. I continue to think that a lot of people have an idea how this is all going to turn out. Small differences make big changes, and everybody wants to tell me exactly why everything is going to fall on a group of 100 Tea Party members, but somehow these things don't always work out as a lot of people would think, and I still think that the amount of damage and the blame game is still up in the air, but I don't suspect that there will be any deal until maybe the second week of January. I continue to hold and be short the market. Not a bad side to be on today. Of course, not a lot of volume yet. We're going to get into some of the news, but I wanted to just take a quick look here because I hadn't looked at it in a few minutes, make sure something hasn't drastically changed. But we're off about 5.5 on the S&P. We were off, about 4 more than that, so maybe 9. Looks like they're probably going to try to push this market up before the end of the day. Now remember, the number one thing that's supposed to happen the last 10 days of August and the time between about the 20th and the 1st in the market, and that is that most of the big street names out there call a truce, bring in their B team, and make sure that the market doesn't move very far very fast. And we'll probably see a little buying come in. Volume's only 1.4 billion shares so far today. And, that's going to be their job, is to make sure that not a lot happens before next Wednesday, I guess. And we'll have to take a look at it. But we are seeing some destruction out here, even on low volume. And a lot of that came from some other issues. But I wanted to get some other news. Netflix, it's off, or it's actually up now. $1.39. Netflix didn't work come Christmas Eve. They finally fixed it on Christmas Day, about 10 a.m. in the morning. Netflix relies a lot on Amazon's cloud to serve all those movies. And what happened, they had the B team in New Year's Eve, and everything kind of blew up on the high demand. So Netflix is kind of pointing fingers at Amazon. Amazon's pointing fingers at Netflix for new software, but not really heavily. Of course, don't want to make Netflix look too bad because they are your customer. Today, the market didn't really do a lot early on. MasterCard came out with their Spending Pulse report, which basically has a breakdown on how money was spent. The growth was up 0.7% from a year ago, the smallest increase since 2008, and well below the 3 to 4% gain that everybody was touting at. That made a lot of stocks move out here. Coors, Coach, Movado, Ralph Lauren, and Tiffany's. We'll be going through those charts here in a little bit. But most of the higher end retailers got hit this morning. Doesn't look too bad. One of the other things we need to be reticent of is there's more waterfront strikes set up. This would be a shutdown on Sunday. And the dock unions, I can't even say it, dock union workers failed to agree to a new contract. I think it's late Sunday evening. They would be on strike all the way on the East Coast, all the way to Texas. Probably not going to be a big deal now that Christmas is over, but could put additional strain on markets that maybe with the fiscal cliff issue not being solved, we're already be under a heavy duress. I haven't, maybe that Benadryl is starting to kick in here. I almost feel like I can't speak. Anyway, other things going on, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to get too wordy here today with a light volume, and especially with the I guess how can I say it? The B team in on Wall Street's keeping the markets, or trying to keep the markets from moving too far, too fast, why the adults have left the room. But yeah, 1.5 billion shares. Not a whole lot, but we did get a lot of movement that was rather unexpected, I guess. And we're going to go through those charts here in just a second. I actually made up a nice little list. If we can get this up and running here. So what do we have? What did I want to see? Yeah, that's them. So we're going to go through these charts fairly quickly. Coach, COH. This thing has been in a nice, neat trading range. Pretty good volume so far today already. So we're probably looking for at least a test down here around the last major low, and there's a gap underneath it. Probably enough energy in this lighter market to see that gap filled. But the last major low was November 15th out here at 52.30. 5.9 million shares. Figure you're probably going to get down somewhere in that level. There is a gap also down about 51 to 50 and a quarter or so. That gap had some decent volume out there. You're probably going to see support come from Coach in that next level. Coors, which is a recent IPO, I guess out for about a year here. They're coming in, seeing a little better volume at least than half day, but I suspect we're probably going to see a little bit more by the end of the day. It came down, touched and filled part of the gap on November 15th. That original gap started with a earnings release on, July or August 14th? Let's see, yeah, August 14th. Popped up on about 5.7 million shares. Got back into it on November 15th with 4.7 million shares to 46.66. Looks like it's going to come one more time back into that $45, $46 range out here. Not a huge move, but maybe if the volume dried up there, maybe not a bad move. Maybe the worst of the market pullback will be over by then. Movado, another one that's come back. It had a nice gap up, filled it once, had 16 million, well, let's see, 160,000 shares on November 15th. Looks probably holding up a little bit better than the rest, maybe because it's already down a little farther, but it should be in a fairly decent support range. Ralph Lauren is another one. This one looks one of the more weaker. It's got a nice big gap. It's into some high volume up day bars from that same period, about 8/8 of so what is that? July, August of August 8th. Hit some big volume there, 3.1 million shares. You're going to come into it with probably 1.1 million by the end of the day, if nothing really big happens. So we're continuing to look there. Tiffany's another one. Again, we're looking at this thing could actually come all the way back to about $53 on Tiffany's. Holding up pretty well. The volume's fairly light. And has broken through its 8/8 gap. Well, what is it? 828, 8/8. Let's see here. Yeah, it's already broken through there. The volume on the gap down was a lot more for Tiffany. Looks like we're going to continue that move down, but I would say 52.76 looks fairly decent for a target on Tiffany's, TIF. And I guess no free breakfast at Tiffany's. Never seen that movie, but everybody talks about it. I guess I'm one day going to have to actually see it. Just checking to see if there's anything else new on the wire. Doesn't really look like there's a lot to report. We're going to go through some of the other high volume stocks before the end of the day. In the NASDAQ, see if we have anything really moving out here. Really haven't had a chance. You've got Amazon, as I spoke, pretty much blamed for the outage on Netflix. Got a kind of double whammy. They are, and the MasterCard report came out. They're down almost 4% out here. A little bit off their all-day low, which was 248.22, printing off 248.67 right now. AM. Long term, this thing wants to come back below about $200. There's a nice gap out here that has not been filled. When it goes and fills that is going to be interesting, but really hasn't come back and filled that. A lot of people are looking at that as a sign to come back. I think Amazon has a lot of troubles out there. Is it going out of business? No. But could it surely come back to that 195, 205 area? I think the answer is yes. We'll be back in just a minute. We'll be going through a lot more stocks. A lot of the usual suspects. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Millionaires are made every day. The fact is, living your dreams is possible. Someone, somewhere is going to get rich. My recommendation is, let that be you. Each day, someone is making the decision to better themselves and creating a plan to fulfill their financial dreams. Let that be you. The key to turning dreams into reality is to take massive action. Let that be you. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of the Money Master Show with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN, and I can help you with your journey to great wealth. I'll show you how to create the ultimate financial edge, a set of tools, insights, and strategies that are part of my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability. You'll have direct access to me by phone, email, and my private library of trading and investing secrets for 30 days with an unconditional money-back guarantee. I'll take your trading to the next level. Click on my name, Steve Rhodes, on the homepage at TFNN.com and turn your dreams into reality. Mastering Probability, folks. Let that be you.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And you can always call me at 877-927-6648. I'd appreciate your phone call today. It's going to be kind of a quiet day. We're going to go through some of the movers out here and see where they're actually headed. A lot of these are the usual suspects. One that I've been watching for a while is Fossil. Came down a huge disappointment back on May 8th on monster volume, about almost 21 million shares. Gap back up on a little better earnings on August 7th. And we continue to see this thing kind of in a trading range. To me, this looks like a lot of distribution. And we've come back up there a little while. I think with today's numbers out for MasterCard, probably a good chance it's going to come back and try to fill this gap that's been underneath since August 7th or 8th out here on 7 million shares. And we'll see how the market moves out here. But this thing, always a volatile stock on whether or not anybody's wearing watches anymore. Ross Stores, ROST. Another mover out here, 2.5%. Just about, maybe a little less. RS, if I can type it, ROST. Okay, get it out here. This one's kind of interesting in that it's attacking once again previous low out here. $52 was that? $52.25. 5.3 million shares on November 15th. Coming into that with 3.3 million shares on the 21st. And what do we got today? It's going to be kind of light volume. So there are a few out here that are actually making signals that they may be ready to be making a low. But probably have to wait a couple of days to find that out. What do we have? Shield, which is Sears Holding. One of the living dead out here. Price line, PCLN. PCLN. This one's another one back out here filling a gap. Although this one, probably not a bad little setup either. It took off with heavy volume on November the 2nd with 2.5 million shares. It's tried to basically cover this gap a few times, but we're going to be getting into it here over the next few days on very light volume. Trying to see what that is. About 590. 590, now 595. If I'm wrong, this is one of the stocks that may be setting up here for a move out. Ideally, love for it to come back down to, what is that, 551? Yeah, 551.97. It had 2 million shares, although it's fairly light in that. You could conceivably come back and fill that gap, but really not looking all that bad. Intuitive Surgical has been making its way down for a while. ISRG off about 2% today. Another one that's getting back down into a gap and starting to fill it. The problem you had on this was just monstrous volume on the downside. When you get this kind of monstrous volume over the last 4 or 5 days out here, you never get a good automatic rally. At best, what you can hope for is this thing to go sideways and burn energy off. But as we look at it, could this, probably working with the energy behind it, you probably have an exhaustion move at the moment and see this thing move sideways for a while, even this last 2 days of volume out here. But good indication this thing could get down as low as the July 23rd low at 467. Didn't have a lot of volume in it, and you're really up against this gap that came up with about 336,000. Not a whole lot into this thing to really look at it. So we are, a few of these stocks that have been smacked already are getting back down into the low ends of their trading range. I'm going to take a look at some of the other stocks out here. What else we have? RIM, which is the stock that keeps on giving, making people think that they're going to do something and they're not. Up 12%, but that's not a big deal out here. This thing has become the football of all traders. Baidu would probably be more interesting to me, BIDU. Take a look at this thing. Came in, I think it tested a low in that $90 range. Yeah, it's probably just a bounce in a downtrend, it looks like. We're seeing some fairly light volume. Could this be another gap filler up here? Of course, this one came and filled a gap on fairly decent volume, 10 million shares on the October 31st. Kind of working its way back up there. One of the few stocks going good, but you're going to have to get up more than 10 million shares to really push a lot of people out that are wanting to get out on this one. But could it get back up to 110? Yeah. We'll be watching that. We'll be looking at a few of these other movers out here. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
You've heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've seen him on Tiger TV, as well as being featured as a regular CNBC guest and contributor, and now you can have access to his expert trading advice each morning through his daily trading newsletter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading stocks, options, and indices every market day. Market Insights comes out each market day before 9:30 a.m. and provides traders with Tom's daily commentary, opinion, and specific trade recommendations on the markets. Using advanced Fibonacci methods, volume indicators, Gartley patterns, candlestick charting, gaps, and market timing, Market Insights will give you specific trade recommendations including entry, stop, and exit prices. The summer is over and traders are back. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we get back, again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. And this would be a perfect day to do it because it's going to be kind of a quiet day out here, lower volume for the next couple of days. But maybe we'll get that surprise we've been looking for when everybody finally admits that the jig is up. But we're going to look at some Gartleys here in the meantime. And one of the ones I've been watching is ACC, American Campus Communities. They have basically apartments for college students. And, you know, you've seen a lot of people talk about whether or not they're going to go to college, coming out with huge debts. And you probably would see the end of for-pay educations also maybe working in this. But fairly interesting stock out here that looks like it's making a little confirmation, making a nice bearish Gartley. And so far, the ABC ratio, which you like to see, is about 1-to-1, which is it's not the kind of Gartley that a lot of people would like, but at topping motion, you get both a higher high on lighter volume than the B point. But nice little Gartley setting up here. Probably the most indicative thing is this November 2nd high that had 2.1 million shares at 46.75. He came into it with about 300,000 shares. Very, very light. Made a nice little doji out here, getting the pull back from the community. This thing looks like it's kind of in a nice trading range, and you probably look at 42.44 to somewhere about 42.96, where this thing is probably going to be trading for a while. Boeing was another one out here that was making a little Gartley pattern out here, and I'm wondering if this thing hasn't topped out. It's going to have a nice little doji out here today, but it's made a bearish butterfly, and perfect 1.27 move on this thing. You've got decent energy on the way up. I wouldn't be shorting this thing, but you do have a gap down around 71 bucks. And could it come back and fill that? Yeah, I don't think. I guess the question is, everybody says there is going to be a deal for the fiscal cliff. There won't be any pullback in spending, but my guess is that there will be. And since right now, probably the party that's going to push this would probably cut guns, not butter. This one, you probably want to be watching this fairly quick. Could move back to 71 bucks in a heartbeat on a huge cutback on military spending, although they've kind of moved their way out and have a good stream. Like I said, this is not one that's going to go to 50 bucks or anything anytime soon, but keep an eye on it. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see any others. CBS, and just see a few of these out here. Cadence Design, Delta Airlines. Take a look at this one here. And it went a little too high today here. And what else do we have? Progressive Software Company, PRGS. This one's rather interesting. You've got a high volume low out here, and that's the first key to making a lot of these bearish Gartley patterns work. Went a little bit over the target of $21.21, but it has everything that I love in a Gartley pattern out here. Probably a little too cheap for me at my blood in shorting. I like to short stocks that are at least over 30 bucks. But you had a huge volume move down day. The bottom of that has not really been tested. And you had a very light movement back up to the D target of 21.21. It got up to 21.66 intraday, but closed below that. You're getting kind of some confirmation here. This thing looks like it come back to about 18.40, 18 bucks fairly quickly where that happened. Not a bad example. Probably not going to make any money on these because I can't recognize or recommend shorting this one. But if you're looking to learn more about Gartley patterns, and especially a Tiger Gartley kind of pattern where you go up to higher highs on much lighter volume, not a bad looking one. You get kind of a little doji yesterday that might be a signal, but you're certainly pulling back below that. And you just didn't have the kind of breakout. You would have liked to seen something with 550,000 shares break out, and you kind of broke above that B point with 273,000. It's kind of worked its way up out here and moving kind of far, but kind of an interesting stock to watch. We're going to look at some regular stocks here, I think, if I can actually find them here. There we go. Not a whole lot out here in the marketplace right now, but we are going to look at a few of these. What I've got 1 year set up. We'll do it in reverse here. Visteon, which is kind of interesting. We've been looking at a lot of these car companies hit these highs on very, very light volume. There was a little open gap that goes back to April 4th in Visteon. Symbol is VC. When we look at this thing, it's another one that looks like it's pretty much out of gas. You did have a lot of volume off the bottom, which is exactly what you're looking for. You did even have a gap move that has gotten filled. Invisteon. You even had another move back up on the 1st of November with a sign of strength as it busted through the rest. But since then, not a whole lot of anything. This thing ideally probably going to come back to about $49 for its first move. If you get any kind of volume, then you look at $44. I'm just not real positive on the car companies at the moment, but I'm thinking a lot of that it would go away in the next budget agreement. They're still pushing subprime loans for cars, and that's pretty much what's keeping them going. Terex, we've talked about this one a little bit. It's been banging against upside resistance level. February 21st, it had 5 million shares at 26.77. Finally got into that the last few days. You got into it with half the volume. You have pulled back, and they're trying to push it back up here. But last 2 days, of course, very light volume. Probably going to look and see continued light volume in that. But not a bad little setup out here. You had heavy volume again off the bottom. It sets up a nice trading range. But could this thing come back to $14? I think eventually it probably will. Just too much energy off on this last big move back up here to retest the high, and looks like a larger trading range from about 28 and a half bucks back down to 14. Kind of a nice channel trader out there that you might want to keep an eye on. Stratasys, seeing these 3D companies very, very, very frothy, and this thing tried to bust out once again out here. SSYS is the symbol on this thing. The last major high was November 29th with 640,000 shares. Going to probably get 400,000 shares, but it closed below that 79.25. Probably a pretty good indication that this thing's back into its trading range, which would probably be back down to about 69 bucks. I'd like to have this thing come back once again and come in with very light volume if you wanted to look at it again. We do have phone call, or the lines open at 877-927-6648, 877-927-6648, and we'll take a look at it. PHH Corporation, another one up here that's up here, and I'm going to probably give it the benefit of the doubt for the last 2 days, but I'm going to keep this one on my radar that I look at every day. It had its last major high out here, $22.74, 1.4 million shares. Came in light, but of course the last few days have been light. Got a high at $23.15. Looks like this thing wants to probably go and test that high one more time over the next couple of days, and at that point, if you see volume shrink again, this thing's probably going to run right back down to $21 area. Take a look and see what these guys actually do. Business processing management services for mortgage and fleet industries in the United States. Mortgage production segment provides private label mortgage services for financial institutions. So, pretty big. Mortgages and cars. Maybe the car part of that is going to be weak. Monsanto was talking to Steve Rhodes before the show. I either talked to him a couple minutes before the show or after the show. I know that that he got a couple bucks out of this. Excuse me. And a short, but went ahead and covered it, I remember. But this one looked like it was going to try one more time to make it up there. This one's going to be very, very interesting. It is bucking the trend and trying to go higher on lighter volume out here. But we are looking at 4.8 million shares is the number. Got very, very light volume so far today. If this thing's going to stay above it. And maybe you'll get another shot at it here. MON. Just take a quick look here. Let's see if that volume's right. 1.4 million shares, something like that. So yeah, we're going to be in and above that high once again out here. Probably take a quick look at POT and see how it's doing too. See if these things are This one looks like it's making more of an ABC down, or at least a test to go back and try going back down. Yeah, but Monsanto, a little cleaner chart out here for what it's doing. You're going to get a fairly decent signal out here, but you're going to need a close back below, what is that? I can just barely see this chart out here. The October 9th high. Could that be, what is that, $90? $92.20 from October 9th out here. I tried to get into it with 2.4 million shares on October 29th, pulled back in the trading range. Million shares yesterday, maybe 2 million shares today. Probably put a little signal back out on this and check this thing, because if it closes below 92.20 again, that's going to be a pretty good signal out here in this marketplace. LinkedIn, been watching this thing, has been stretching itself very hard on whether this thing's trying to actually go retest the high one more time, or is this thing making an ABC down, or at least going back to test its previous low. I'm saying there's probably about a 70% chance, 75% chance it goes back and tests the November 9th low out here at $94.75. Getting a little doji here today, which means we're probably going to know tomorrow whether or not LinkedIn is going to retest its high or go test its last low. But kind of on the high side of an ABC down. I think it did 0.75, 73% retrace. So a little bit high on what you want. Probably better shorts out there, but maybe a good indication if you see this start, this one start to weaken, that it is probably ready to start breaking down. Alliance Data Systems, ADS, is another one. Taking a look at this one, but we're seeing a lot of false breakouts, so I wanted to get to this one before the end of the show. ADS is a symbol on this, so you probably want to watch it. Just as we talked about those others coming and trying to break out on light volume, this one's pretty much confirming a top in it. And what you had was the October 19th high, 145.68, almost 2 million shares. Tried to get through it with 600,000 shares, 400,000 shares. Got as high as 1.2 million shares a couple of days ago, but really didn't go anywhere. Yesterday 139,000, on Monday 139, and light volume today. You had a huge sign of strength that this thing's working against on 10/18, where you had basically your 2 million shares for that high. And you've been trying to work back through this thing. Closing back in that range would suggest maybe a test of at least the low of that candle, which brings you back down to 138. So probably not another great short candidate out here, but certainly look for some of these stocks that are running on fumes. Take a look at that. So we already looked at American Campus Communities as a Gartley pattern, but we went through it a little bit. But another one that looks like it's in that trading range, just if you looked at it as a pure move, trying to test the previous highs out here that had fairly decent volume. I use the highest volume within 0.5% of the high, and that's basically what we're looking at here. If you just looked at the regular high, you'd be looking at about 2 million shares. I guess that high, it's a kind of a move out there. You've got kind of a big day out here that moved on 8.6 million shares on, what is that, 26th of October, which is probably going to be somewhere in that area of support also. When we get back, we'll look at a few other stocks and how the market's wrapping up. Maybe I can give a little prediction of where we think this thing is moving by the end of the day.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to tfnn.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success, and it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at tfnn.com.
Well, the worst performer in the NASDAQ 100 has been supplanted right now by Marvell. And MRVL is a symbol on that, of course, the chip technology maker. A lot of cell phone stuff, other kind of technologies. They're not just one thing, but coming off, maybe there was some intraday news out here. Let's see if I see some headlines, anything. But for kind of a medium day out here, looking fairly weak, but not a lot of volume so far. Ooh, we did get, they lost a patent deal here. That's what's interesting. Okay. Patent case against Marvell by Carnegie Mellon University. $1.17 billion. So we'll see how this thing rolls out. But it looks like to me it's going to head back down to the November 16th low out here that had 20 million shares. And this is why it's so important not to buy stocks until they test the lows on lighter volume. Now, this had a huge, heavy down day with 54, almost 55 million shares on the 19th of October. It kind of went below that if you want to gauge that as the low. And you're probably going to find fairly strong support level in that. But, you know, when you're out here and take a look at this thing again here. See if we get $7.58 out here. $7.60. You know, you've got probably another 55 cents out here. This could come back down in that real low range, very light volume over, let's say, the next couple of weeks, and get a close back, eventually back up above $7.32. This thing may have made its low out here. Need to check into these patent. The reason this thing's getting hammered here for the patents, and look at it tonight. But looks like it's going to be another one of these stocks that has it rather tough here for a while. We looked at Expedia. One other I wanted to look at is Google. We haven't checked in on that one in a while for technology. This is what I think maybe LinkedIn is starting to set up. Same kind of thing, heavy volume down. They pretty much pulled up fairly high, blew out a lot of shorts up to $738 on December 17th. Been pulling back a little bit here. But, you know, is this thing an ABC down? Probably not, but certainly looks that even on a weaker market that it wants to probably come back into probably 640, 650 range out here where it gapped up on very light volume. These gaps are probably going to get filled once again. Maybe a good time at that point to start looking at Google. Still probably one of the strongest of the big stocks of Microsoft, Intel, a lot of the other ones out here that normally people talk about every day. But continues to, you know, be strong in a fairly decent market. It's come back and it's tested its breakout area fairly extensively, so you might get one more bite out of the apple. In fact, this one might consolidate across, you know, several months, maybe even into the summer, and continue to hammer on that mid $600 range on lighter volume before it's ready to move once again on the next big run. So right now, just looking a little weak out here, but they continue to have good numbers. Probably the most important thing is after kind of the earnings miss last time, are they going to be able to get into making a little bit more money on mobile? I know they've been working on it, but really have to keep a close eye on it. Well, we're about ready to go here. I'll see you again tomorrow. I hope you all had a wonderful and safe Christmas. We'll be back the next 2 days. Of course, it'll be kind of a quiet day. I appreciate your phone calls, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Think up a good question for me. Time to stump the band. See you tomorrow.